What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a quick look at the Arcane Design Necronaut fixed blade. I purchased mine back during the pre-order in May, and those fulfilled maybe a week and a half or so ago, but now ready for the official drop, which is happening on October 3rd, 6 p.m. Central over on the Arcane Design website, and I'll make sure to link to that information down in the description of this video. No affiliation with Arcane Design, but I'm a big fan of his work. Now, this is the first fixed blade design released by Arcane Design, and it was originally one of his folder models, the Necronaut, which was a folder, and I think a great model to convert over to a fixed blade just because it translates so well. I love that American Tanto style blade on a fixed blade. He did a great job converting this handle into something that not only looks great, but is also incredibly ergonomic, feels great in hand. So really love how this one turned out, OEM'd by Reate. Now, these are going to be available for $295 or starting at $295. So for that, all of them are going to have a Magnacut blade that's been tested at a 62 HRC, OEM'd by Reate. The finish on that Magnacut blade might be a little bit different. This one has a satin finish. You may also see a stone wash or even a coated blade. But the big thing that's going to affect the pricing is going to be the handles and that inlay. So as far as the scales go, you can get it in G10 aluminum, which is what we have here, and titanium, a couple different finishes on each. And then there's also different inlays. Usually, I haven't actually checked, but usually you have the option of like a zircotite inlay, which is obviously going to cost a little bit more than an aluminum inlay. So all of that affects the pricing a little bit. For this particular configuration, during the pre-order, I paid $310 for this. Now, the pricing may be a little bit different for the official drop. Sometimes you get a slight discount during pre-orders. I would imagine it's going to be in that ballpark, though, if you're looking for this exact configuration. Probably a slight discount for the pre-order, but again, for that official drop, we should see it at least in the ballpark. Now, as far as the knife itself goes, we're looking at 8.2 inches in overall length, and that's split right down the middle between handle and blade. So we have a 4.1 inch handle, 4.1 inch blade, so really great ratio there. The handle itself is excellent, really great ergos on there. Everything just kind of falls into place. The jimping is some of the best out there. I'm kind of a stickler for jimping. I really want, if you're gonna have jimping, it should be aggressive, it should be grabby, and this just does the job really well and also looks really good with that handle. Even down where it's being covered by the scales, that jimping's still grabbing onto your thumb, so no matter where you land on that jimping, it's just going to lock you into place, and this feels really great. No hot spots. You can see the contouring around the edge is just really well done. It's pretty even along the front, and then it really rounds out the back or the hilt of that knife back here. It's also hiding a hidden lanyard hole here on the back, so you can see there is a space for a lanyard. Now, you do have to remove the scales if you want to add that lanyard because you're not going to be able to thread it through there, but it is nice that it has that option, and it's also nice that it's hidden if you don't put one there. These inlays are replaceable. Typically, he will sell those. I don't know if that's happening right on drop day, but typically he will sell other inlays if you want to swap that out. Again, 4.1 inches on that American Tanto style blade, and I love the compound grind. It obviously looks great, but also serves some utility there. So we have this great tip here. It kind of tapers down to a thinner tip, but still a robust stout tip for penetrating, poking, whatever you want to do there. And then between the main tip and the secondary tip down here, you have this nice flat section, which you can use for shaving or scraping, whatever you want to do with that. But you have that nice flat grind on the front edge here. On our primary edge, though, we have the super slicey hollow grind, and we also have that secondary tip that you can use for more of your kind of slicing cuts. And so you have two separate tips, two separate edges that are both going to serve their own kind of unique utilities there. Nice wedge on the back as well as a sharpening choil down here. You do have the original Necronaut logo here on this side. Flipping it around, we have the Arcane Design logo. Really gorgeous looking knife in my opinion, but it's kind of that functional pocket jewelry here. This is a substantial size knife. It's got great materials. It's definitely usable. Really, like I said, two distinct edges, two distinct points that serve different purposes. So ultra functional knife, but also just a great looking knife overall. This to me was the best looking configuration, but you really can't go wrong with any of them. Now, as far as the sheath goes, you get a Kydex sheath and it has great retention on here. So snaps in there, has the thumb press here, so you can just pop that off if you want to. Don't have to struggle with it. It does come with two soft loops, so if you want to put that on your belt, you can. I'm actually going to remove these, but If you want to leave them on there, it's great. If you don't, it has some other holes here so you can mount different options like an Ulti clip or something like that if you choose to do so. I'm not going to go with any mounting options. This fits perfectly into the mag pocket of those 511 pins that I always mention. And so just going to remove these, drop it directly in the pocket. Now without that sheath, the knife itself weighs 4.7 ounces. So I think a pretty good weight for a knife that's 8.2 inches long. Really well balanced, feels great in the hand. Like I said, it's got a perfect ratio between handle and blade here at 4.1 inches each. And then with the sheath and those belt loops included, adds about 2 ounces. So we're up to 6.7 ounces. Now the retention on there is great. It's not gonna fall out, and there's not a lot of rattle either. So you hear a little bit here, but that's all these soft loops. Once you remove those, you shouldn't have any rattle whatsoever. It's just kind of the little button mounts that make a little bit of noise when you shake it, but otherwise the blade isn't moving around in there. It does seem to kind of mar up the handle a little bit right here next to that ricasso, but other than that, I think great sheath overall. I'm pretty happy with that. Good size on it. It's not overly bulky, and just a great design for a first fixed blade. Now I will revisit this at some point in the future. It'll probably be a while. I'm going to send it off to my buddy who's thinking about picking one up just to see if he likes it before he makes that purchase. After he's done with it, I'll probably have him send it over to Randy over at Randy's WSG because he was interested in checking it out as well. So it'll probably be a month or two before I get this one back, but really excited to finally get this one in hand. I was super excited during the pre-order and just kind of waiting for it to get here. It arrived just on time, right when he was kind of estimating. If you want to learn more about Arcane Design, he was actually on Just a Tip right around the time of the pre-order. I think it was a week or two before, so that was just kind of a coincidence, wasn't planned, but had a really great conversation with him. He's an awesome guy, one of the first people I met in the knife industry, and always super friendly, always a great conversation. He has a very unique design aesthetic, as you can see. So definitely would love to hear your thoughts on this one down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. All help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.